So we really wanted to invite you all to kind of an open format team meeting. We're on Zoom. Our teams do this every single month, sometimes twice a month. And it's a fun way to see each other and interact and talk to one another, even though we're all from different places. I'm in South Carolina. I know Jen, she's in the pink shirt. She's at the bottom of my screen. Jen, how long have you been coaching? Where do you live?
I've been coaching for 6 months-ish now, and currently in Quantico, Virginia, but not for much longer. We will be probably moving back to California shortly.
Yes. Oh, that's going to be a fun place. And Jen is a military spouse like myself, but not every coach is a military spouse. Tracy, can you introduce yourself? Tracy is actually, I love that she's on this because she introduced me to this opportunity. I'm going to tell you about how our teams work in a minute, but Tracy is a personal trainer and she was a general manager of a gym. So do you want to talk a little bit about how long you've been coaching, Tracy, and where you're from?
Yeah, thanks, Ashley. So I am from Alpena, Michigan, and my name is Tracy Granata. My background is actually in physical therapy. I have my doctorate in physical therapy, and I turned fitness back in 2007, where I was a group exercise instructor, personal trainer, turned general manager, group X director. And now, as of next week, I'm solely going to be doing Beachbody full time, and I'm only going to be personal training and teaching group fitness classes. So thank you, Beachbody. My husband is actually a retired golf professional who stays at home now to help me with the 2 kids. And so both of us will be stay at home with me still doing a little bit of fitness on the side. But I have been doing fitness and Beachbody coaching for about 8 years. They kind of started at the same time for me. And yeah, it's just evolved from there. And it's just been a great journey for myself in using the products and gaining that belief. And now I just love paying it forward to others. So yay.
Well, and I get to tie Tracy into a lot of my stories. You're going to hear more about her. But so she is a fitness professional by trade, even before coaching. Jen and I are not. I wanted Nicole to introduce herself because you've been a coach for a very short time, Nicole. So why did you decide on coaching and where are you from? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I am from Michigan, Howell, Michigan. It's not that big of a town. I started coaching because I was looking for a community of women that was going to lift each other up. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I do work from home. I do nails out of the house. But I was having a really difficult time because I have a lot of older kids, and then I have a 2-year-old. So we have a 17-year-old all the way down to 2, but our youngest 2 are 9. So what I was finding is that all of my friends were now back in the workforce because our kids are in school, and I was at home with no friends and a baby 24/7. And I was just really missing that or someone to talk to, and just really looking for somewhere to fit in.
Yeah, well, and she fits right in because she rocks at sharing her story. And that's really kind of the cool part of coaching that was unexpected for me. The people that you meet and connect with and really become your close friends are typically coaches within your team or within our organization. And it was initially, the friendships and community was not something that attracted me to the business because I didn't know anything about that side. But once I got going, part of coaching, and I have friends all across the country. Literally, when I road trip, I can stop and sleep at someone else's house almost every night who's on our team. And I've just met the most amazing people who are uplifting and inspiring, and they really kind of challenge you to be a better person. And that's sort of what the goal of what we do is all about. So I'm going to get to introduce some other coaches as we roll through, but I wanted to quickly touch on the fact that Tracy runs her team Empower, which I'm a part of. I have a team, the Impact Empire. We're all a part of Team Rockstar Fit. So you guys might see or hear those names interchangeably. And I just wanted to just upfront say that if you think of it a little bit like football, like the NFC, you have the Seahawks and you have a bunch of other teams. and they're all within the NFL. They're all football teams. They're all even part of the same conference. That's kind of like what the Impact Empire and Team Empower and Team Rockstar Fit are. The biggest difference is football is competitive, right? The playoffs are this weekend. Seattle's playing on Saturday night, and my husband keeps reminding me that I need to be home. But they're competing for a title. And going back to the community aspect, even though you might hear different team names, there's no competition whatsoever amongst our teams or within Team Beachbody. It's very much a collaborative, celebratory environment where everyone is constantly cheering each other on. And that was really kind of a cool feeling, because in the corporate world or even in high school, you can feel it can feel petty, or you can feel like you're competing with the person next to you. And so to suddenly be immersed in an environment where you own your own business, but everybody who's doing the same thing as you isn't intimidated by it, and you're not intimidated by them. You're just truly cheering each other on and celebrating success. And I want the best for every single person on my team. I know Tracy wants the same, even if that means that they're more successful than we are in this. So I don't want you guys to think, oh, I know so many coaches, or I don't understand what this team thing is. At the end of the day, we're all on the same team, and we're all celebrating the same thing, which is achieving the most that we can out of life. And I really think the team aspect is the best part of this. And I hope that by the end of this call, you'll see exactly why we think that. But so Sue is at the bottom of my screen. Sue Duff, you'll see her name. Sue is getting ready to retire. She's a nurse, and Lana is considering coaching, and she's a personal trainer and a military spouse and a mom. Chelsea is pregnant with their first baby, and her husband is like this buff, fit person. They work out together. So coaches come in all different ages and stages of life and sizes and personalities and backgrounds. And this is definitely not a one-size-fits-all type of opportunity. There's room for everyone, and everyone's story will resonate with an audience differently. For example, if Sue is trying to inspire, women over 50, she can speak to that audience so much better than I can. I can't relate to that. The same thing with a coach who's expecting a baby. She can talk about staying fit during pregnancy, and I don't think we're having another baby, so I don't have that tool in my tool belt. So really go into this with an open mind. I don't want you to compare yourself to anybody on this call or anybody that you've seen, because it truly is like a wide open door, and there's room for everyone, which is really cool. So when we talk about coaching, this really is your business and your rules. We have basically 3 different levels of coaches that we describe. There's a discount coach, which you can kind of think of as having a Sam's Club or Costco membership. You're not doing anything with a business. You just kind of get a discount because you're a member. And a lot of people don't know this, but my mom has been a coach for just as long as I have. She doesn't talk about it on social media. She doesn't sell anything to anyone, but she is a coach just for the discount because she's been drinking Shakeology longer than me. So there's that level of person. And that's actually how I started. Then you have a hobby coach, somebody who likes the idea of fitness, likes the idea of having something they can do as a side business, but doesn't really want to put a ton of time and energy on it. They like just having it as a hobby. And that also was me. And then you have a business builder, which is a coach who says, you know what, I get this. I love the concept. I love the idea of working from home. I can see this as potentially being a significant source of contribution for our family, if not a full-time income, and I'm all in. And I've gone through every stage. I started as a discount coach. Tracy was running some boot camps. I got to know her really well at the club that I worked out at. And I was drinking Shakeology kind of by default. I think I was sort of forced. I say that because the club had this Shakeology bar, and I walked past it every day. My husband had bought P90X for me when our first son was born, and I would skip the commercial at the end about Shakeology. I thought it was a gimmick. And then when I went to work out at the club for the first 18 months, I walked past that bar and was not ever going to buy a shake from them. And then I paid for a boot camp that the shakes came with the boot camp. So after a workout, you got a shake. And I tried it for 10 days because it came with my boot camp. So I wasn't going to pass up the meal, and I was hooked. So I was probably drinking Shakeology for several months before I found out that I could sign up for a discount. And I was like, okay, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to save money because I'm going to keep drinking this. But I told Tracy specifically, I have 2 kids under 2. I'm a full-time college student. My husband is like totally MIA, working 80 plus hours a week. I want no part of this. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to build a business. I'm just going to have a straight discount. And so she let me do that for a little bit of time. And then we have a new coach training program called Rock the Basics. It's where I learned everything I needed to learn to build my business. But it was just rolling out. And she said, Ashley, can you kind of help pilot this and just tell us what you think? And because at that time in my life, I couldn't say no to anybody, and I didn't want to see her every day at the gym and let her down, I said, yeah, throw me in it. Okay. So I'm really grateful that she asked me to do that. And I'm really grateful that I said yes, because it just opened my eyes to a whole new world of possibilities and kind of let me see that I could pair my love for fitness and wanting to be home with my kids, and the fact that I really enjoyed being around other people and helping them with an actual business. And also see that it wasn't this like scammy pyramid scheme that gave you an icky feeling, that it was legitimate, and that I could point to 3 dozen people that I knew personally who were doing really well with it and having fun and making an impact in their community. So I kind of started diving in, and I dove in very cautiously. I was still skeptical. My husband told me there was no way I was ever going to do anything with this. Like, he was fine that I was keeping myself occupied while he was gone, but he didn't have any faith in the fact that I was going to make any sort of financial changes in our lives with Beachbody. So I didn't have a lot of support at home. My kids were very, very little. I had postpartum with my second son, and I was still going to school. So I jam-packed anything I did for the Beachbody business into 30 minutes at nap time, because really the other hour and a half my kids were napping, I had assignments to turn in. I didn't have hours to put into my business, but I did have a little bit of time. And because of Rock the Basics and the community of our team, I was able to see kind of the long-term vision. And I knew, hey, if I can chip away at this little by little and just be consistent every day, then I'm going to drink Shakeology anyway. I'm going to work out anyway. I can start really doing something different for my family. But still in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, man, my husband just said no about driving home to see my mom. And she only lives 4 hours away, but we didn't have $75 extra to fill in the gas tank. So in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, I'm going to need to find a part-time job, or when my kids go into school, I'm going to have to go back to, I used to be a medical billing specialist for a doctor's office in Hawaii. That's what I did before getting pregnant. So I was like, I'm going to have to go back and find a desk job. But I really didn't want a desk job. And it wasn't until I started coaching that I realized I didn't want a desk job, because I was like an entrepreneur at heart. And so coaching kind of let me blossom in that area. And I guess to make my long story a little bit shorter, I've been coaching for almost 4 years now. And since it's January, my husband, he was helping me set up this Excel spreadsheet to better track what's going in and coming out business-wise this year. He's helping me get organized, because I like to be in front of people, but I'm terrible with logistic stuff. And so he input just the first 2 weeks paycheck for this year, and he was a little surprised. And I said, yeah, I mean, can you believe I'm earning in 1 week what it used to take me 2 weeks to earn in Hawaii? In Hawaii, we got paid pretty well. It was like $16 an hour. But I was working full time then. I was working 40 plus hours a week. And here I'm working at this point in my business, probably close to 20. But again, that's full time for me. Hey, Julie, I'm glad you're on. So close to 20 is full time for me, but that's not where I started. Where I started was very humble. It was 30 minutes on a really crappy kitchen table when I was really tired and surviving on coffee with 2 little kids and a husband who wasn't that supportive. And so to understand that in 4 years' time, I've gone from that very unhappy thinking I was going to have to get a desk job, not really feeling fulfilled in any area of my life, to kind of designing our day and giving Brandon an opportunity to walk away from the Marine Corps. It's pretty cool. And I do have to say a big thank you to Tracy, because if it wasn't for her, I never would have been introduced to this. And I think we all have those, if it wasn't for that person, moments, like those times where something intersects our lives and we can either decide to pick it up or leave it there. But I always go back to, like, if I had left it there and stayed so skeptical and cynical and just, woe is me, I'm going to watch Ellen and look for part-time dental assisting jobs online, like that wouldn't have been fulfilling. So I'm really glad that you're all here, and I really want you to think hard about this, and I don't want to talk so long about me that we can't get to other people. So as coaches, we work primarily with at-home fitness solutions, and now online. Beachbody does a great job of keeping up with the digital age, to help people get fit and fight the trend of obesity, but also stagnation. So obesity is obvious. We see it all around us, especially in kids now, which just like really makes my heart cringe. But stagnation is that less obvious thing that I think coaching really attacks, but people don't think a lot about. And a lot of people that I know, and you guys will recognize this on social media, they're just kind of like walking through life, but not feeling happy or fulfilled. It's like, okay, new day, same old, or they're just getting up to get through, but they don't really feel alive. And I didn't really realize that I felt that way until I started coaching and found a different community and a different way to think about life, that it could be bigger than just being a mom and hoping that we get a bigger tax return at the end of the year so that maybe we can actually afford a better vacation than visiting our parents, right? Like, so many people just accept that as life. That's acceptable. And when I started Rock the Basics and got plugged in with coaching, I kind of just realized I don't have to accept that I can choose to work hard, and that the structure that Team Beachbody has provided us to be an entrepreneur is incredible. And if you can step into that and believe in it and really just work hard, you can create a full-time income doing part-time work at home that's super rewarding, because you get to help other people become the best versions of themselves. And we have tons of transformation stories, but I wanted to let Alex share hers, because she has one that's both mental and physical. I'll post her P90X results on the event page, but I'll just let her tell you about the rest.
Hi guys, I'm Alex. First, I'll tell you guys about my physical transformation. Me and my husband were nearing the end of our military careers and decided that it was time to just feel better, because he had just had a surgery and I was a little bit overweight after a deployment. And so he ordered 90X from the TV, and I decided I was going to do it with him, mostly because I knew that he wanted to feel better, but really I needed to feel better too. We did the program to a T, and I had lost 15 pounds and he had lost 20 pounds. And right then and there is when I knew that I wanted to work in the fitness industry. I was military police, and I knew I didn't want to do that. So I was kind of like, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was going to get out. So it was kind of perfect timing. Ashley's sister, who I went to school with, told me about the coaching opportunity, and it just sounded perfect, because it was a way for me to use what I had done to help others do the same. But it became more than that when I started coaching, because one of their vital behaviors as a coach is personal development. And that's something like I needed really bad, because I was a serial people pleaser, just like Ashley, saying yes, yes, yes to everybody and putting everyone else's feelings before my own, because it sounds good. Oh, I'm helping everyone else. But in the end, it's not good. You need to take care of yourself first before you can help others to the best of your ability. And I mean, that's just what it is now. I mean, I put myself first, and then I can take care of others even better.
And how has the community and personal development helped you through, I guess, the transition from active military life to suddenly, I mean, it's a whole different ballgame, right? The military mindset versus being a civilian in the real world.
Yeah, because you're in the military, you're taken care of, you're told what to do every minute of your life, and then you go to having to make all the decisions for yourself. And with coaching, it's basically the freedom. You're teaching yourself how to make the decisions for yourself about what you want in life and how you can make it happen. And it really teaches you to believe in yourself and believe that it is possible, no matter where you start out at in life, where you've come from, what you've been through. And just the feeling's amazing. You can't compare it to any other job, I don't think.
It doesn't feel like work. We were at my mother-in-law's house. I got dropped off. My husband dropped me off like a child because we had a rental car to work at Panera for a few hours. And I was like going in there like with a bounce in my step. I was so excited that I got to go to work for a few hours and get out of the house. And like not many people can say they love getting out of bed in the morning to head to their job. But one really cool thing, and I'm going to share it because I know a lot of the people who are curious about coaching are also married. Alex and her husband, Jose, kind of do this business together. He's a personal trainer. Alex is a fitness enthusiast. This is very much their life, as it is for Tracy. And Dana is on the call. She's a dental hygienist, but she's also a Group X instructor at a gym. So it is something that fitness professionals and fitness enthusiasts can grab a hold of and do together, but it's also something that people like me, a former stay-at-home mom, military spouse, can also be very successful with. So it's a mixed bag, and there's no right or wrong way to coach as long as your heart is in helping people. I'm going to have Julie quickly share. Oh, but what I was going to say about the spouse thing, it's really fun to see Alex and Jose work together in tandem, and Tracy and Eric do that. And I didn't have Brandon's support for the beginning, for sure, of my business. But now that he helps do the books and stuff, he's willing to help with bath time. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll make time for your business. So sometimes it takes a spouse a long time to come around, but eventually they do. And it's really fun when you can start. It's almost kind of like having a family business without having to take out a $100,000 loan from the bank. Alex had great results with P90X, and Julie is actually fairly new to me, but Julie, can you quickly share your P90X transformation, just because I want you guys to hear that. You know, those silly infomercials that you see on late night television and you do in your living room, they actually do work so much better than a gym membership in most cases. So Julie, I'm going to unmute you and then go ahead and just share your story with P90X.
Thank you, Ashley. I'm super excited to be here and nice to meet everybody. So I actually have a little girl. She's 2.5. Her name's Sydney. And before I got pregnant, I was not in the best shape. I was not working out a ton. I was drinking Shakeology. I've been drinking Shakeology since I think like 2010. So it's been a really long time. It's been like 7 years. And I had been doing P90X, and then I got pregnant and I ate everything. Like, I'm not even remotely kidding. Like, I ate everything in the house at all times. And I went from being kind of overweight a little bit when I got pregnant to gaining like 90 pounds during my pregnancy. I was huge. I went into the hospital weighing 240 pounds. And when I came out after I had Sydney, obviously there's like the 20 pounds or whatever that you lose like right away from water weight and the extra blood volume and all that stuff. Well, over the course of a couple of rounds of P90X, thank you, Tony Horton, I lost all of it and then some, and I am back to about 155 right now. So I'm on my way to being back to where I was before I had Sydney. It's taken a couple of years, but thankfully I've got Ashley now, so I've got a team of people around me to work with and kind of go through everything together with. So it's been a pretty amazing transformation, but really Shakeology, P90X, it's really what I owe it to. I'm also a personal trainer. So it's really interesting when you have a personal trainer who's a little bit squishy. But basically, what I told my clients is I used to be a lot squishier. So I'm not that squishy anymore. It's definitely working.
Oh, that's awesome. And I'm actually glad I'm really glad you brought up the community, because I have a cool way to screen share something with you guys. I wanted to show you something in case you are thinking about, okay, cool, they're talking about at-home fitness solutions. They're talking about this as a business, but how do you actually make it all happen? And primarily is through challenge groups. This is a really exciting time because everybody wants to be digital. Everybody's busy. I know it's super obnoxious for me. I actually just canceled my gym membership last month because it's obnoxious to drive through traffic, 20 minutes in a car, unload your children, go in, wait for machines, load your children up, drive home. It's not time effective. And I find that when I go to the gym, at least, especially when I first went to the gym, I didn't have any idea what I was doing. And for women especially, even if they did know what they were doing, they're extremely self-conscious about working out in front of other people, right? There's a very low barrier of self-esteem. So what we get to do is bring that gym environment into an online community where people can work out in the comfort of their own home. I can work out in the same pair of pants 3 days in a row because nobody's going to see me. Well, except for people on social media, and I'll tell them, I just worked out in the same pants 3 days in a row. And yes, they're funky. They go in the wash. But we get to bring that whole gym environment where you have a trainer and you have people around you, but we bring it right onto your cell phone or your computer screen or Facebook. We have several different apps, and then people can turn their own home into their fitness center. And the really cool thing about Beachbody's programs is that there's something for literally everyone. If you are 100 pounds overweight and you really need to ease into exercise, there's, Tai Chi, very, very low impact. It doesn't put a lot of stress on your joints. If you are like a fitness, fanatic and you love working out, then you can do hammer and chisel. You can do Body Beast, and you can even compete on a stage with the results you'll get from an at-home fitness program, which is kind of crazy to think about, but the results are real. And if you just look at the internet or look on any one of our coach's page, you'll see them. And that's what's cool, because I know the feeling of going to the gym day out and day out, day in and day out, and feeling frustrated because you're not seeing a lot of change. And a lot of people that I know, other moms, women, middle-class women, they can't afford to pay a trainer. So we get to take that same concept and bring it home and make it affordable, make it fun, make it practical, and make people feel really comfortable with what they're doing. And then when they get results, we can stage them up to the next thing and stage them up to the next thing. I mean, there's even a maternity series for every single stage of pregnancy, first trimester, second, third, and then postpartum. So if you can think of a demographic, there is a fitness program for that person within Beachbody, and they can get the best results, and they can do it with you helping them, coach them every step of the way. So I'm going to screen share really quick something. I just want you to see what one of our online communities look like, because I happen to have it up. So this is one of our apps. It's a free app for both the coach and the participant. It's called My Challenge Tracker. And right now we have a really fun group going on called the Health Bet, where people who participate are actually going to get paid at the end just for finishing. But I'll have to scroll to the top. I'll try and be a little bit faster. Okay. So basically, this is my coach portal. So this was what it looks like on the end of a coach. But I have a list of my participants. If I clicked here, I can add files like a meal plan. I can designate other people on my team as admins. And then every day I will post to the group. They'll have a post from their coach, which can be a healthy recipe or a workout tip or a wellness tip. And then they use this feed to log their activity, like their workouts, log their food, and share their struggles and share their successes. So it's very much just like the Facebook news feed, only instead of having, crazy videos of cats on YouTube and just randomness from your great aunt who wants you to buy a home in an area you don't even live in, you have like a fitness news feed essentially. So it's kind of like MyFitnessPal meets Facebook. So all of these people, they log their workouts. As a coach, I can see what they've done. So if I wanted to see my participants, it would show me a list of when they've logged their workouts or their shakes. So if I see someone's missing, I can reach out to that person like, hey, we're on day 4 of this challenge and I noticed you haven't logged anything. Is everything okay? Is there, a way I can help support you? So we do a lot of our groups on Facebook, but we also have handy apps that let us stay forever connected with our challengers and really deliver them an experience that helps them get the most effective results and have the most fun. So we've talked a little bit about Shakeology. It's certainly something that I use and my challengers use, but I want you to understand a little bit more about it and actually hear from someone who kind of hated the idea of Shakeology at the beginning. So I'm going to toss this over to Nicole, because when she became a coach and she was talking about Shakeology, I was like, oh no. And I asked her, I gave her some resources and I said, hey, just research this on your own and make your own decision, but tell me what you think. So I'm going to let her share a little bit about that.
Okay, so first of all, I was like Ashley when I would do a workout, because I've been doing Beachbody workouts forever and ever. I think I've purchased almost every single one, but I would just skip right past the Shakeology thing, because who needs a shake? I want to eat real food. So I would skip that part. But when I was looking into becoming a coach, I had talked to her about the ingredients, because I wanted something that was natural. I was having a lot of health problems. So I wanted something that was natural. And I think I even asked her if I could be a coach but not actually be taking or drinking Shakeology. And she was like, yeah, you can, but... So that was kind of where I was at with it. I really had no interest with it. So I did do some research. I had my sister do some research. And at the end of the day, my sister, who does not believe in anything, nothing, finds something wrong with everything, said, it's really packed with a ton of great nutrients, tons of vitamins. Give it a shot and see what happens. So I did. And I can tell you within the first week of drinking it, I had amazing results. I was having a lot of issues. I was getting sick all the time, like having really bad sore throats at least a couple times a month. And then I was getting canker sores in my throat from other issues going on. My hair was falling out, my eyebrows were falling out, just lots of different issues. And within the first week, I remember making a post on Facebook about I had taken a shower and I was so stinking excited because I did not have barely any hair fall out. And for me, that was amazing because I would lose it in clumps. So that was huge. I have my first cold since I started it, but I can tell you, like, this is day 2 of me being, stuffy sick. And I can already tell that I'm starting to feel better, where normally I would have gotten a cold and been sick for like 2 weeks. So it has been amazing for me. The vitamins and the nutrients that are in it, I'm slowly but surely doing research now on each and every ingredient so I can really know what it's all about. So like today I was looking at camu, and it literally is one of the highest sources for vitamin C recorded in the world. And that's in what we're drinking. So it's amazing. And I think a lot of times people think that it's a protein drink, like I did, or it's just a shake. Why would I want that? I want to eat food. But what people don't understand is that it's the nutrients and the vitamins that you need that I guarantee you're not getting in your food, because nobody eats perfect all the time. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly right. People look at, I think that the mistake people make is thinking that we are all protein deficient, which might be true to an extent, but I think more than that, overall, we're like, at least in the United States, we are nutrient deficient, and that's because they've removed all of the nutrients from our food, which is why Shakeology has a little bit higher of a price point, because Darren Olean, who created it, he actually sources our ingredients from other parts of the globe instead of here, because they're still nutritionally intact and they're not anymore in the United States. So it's a great shake. I hated the idea of it too, and I totally became a convert, super skeptic to convert. So all I can say about Shakeology is definitely just do some research if you're skeptical, and And if you want to try it and you haven't, just send me a message. Okay, so we have these challenge groups. We drink these shakes. We host nights like tonight where we can share more about the opportunity. But we also have kids. A lot of us also have day jobs. And so I'm going to toss it over to Sheila, who is a mom of twins and a teenager. And she used to work in the corporate world, and now she is a coach. But Sheila, can you share a little bit about, I guess, why you started coaching and how you make it work as a busy mom with two very young girls?
Sure. Hi, everybody. So I worked in the corporate IT world as a manager, and I got pregnant with my twins and then decided to stay home with them. And I also have a 16-year-old. My twins are 4, and I have a 16-year-old. My 16-year-old's my stepdaughter that lives with us full time, so I did not birth her. But because people look at that, they're like, 16 and 4, how did that happen? But anyways, so I stayed home, but I didn't get married until I was 36. So I did not have my twins until I was 40. And I worked all that time in building up my career and going up the corporate ladder. So by the time the twins were 2, and I was going crazy staying home by myself because I was used to being around people, running meetings, not staying home with 2-year-olds who talk gibber all day. So I started to look for things that, I could do, but I didn't want to leave them because I was a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to stay home. So that's when I finally found this coaching gig. And it's fit perfectly into our busy life, but it's completely different, but kind of the same. It's kind of hard to explain as the corporate world. Secretly, I've always wanted to open a flower shop since I was a little kid. And my dad was going to actually help me with it. And then I decided, flowers, they die too fast. That's going to be too much money. So I was always looking for some type of business to open. And so this coaching just kind of fell in my lap, and it was perfect because it gave me the opportunity to own the business that I always wanted, but didn't really know at the time that was what I needed. So fast forward today, the twins are 4. In the 2.5 years since I have been a coach, it's taken a lot of trials and errors to get my everyday schedule the same, because it switches so much. Because the twins at the beginning weren't in school, now they're in school. My 16-year-old had to be, driven places. Now she doesn't really have to go. I don't have to drive her as much, all that stuff. But the twins go to school Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they're home with me Monday and Friday. And we're on the go Monday and Friday pretty much all day. And they're in dance, and they're in gymnastics, and, their activities. And then Madison, my 16-year-old, she also has, she runs, and so we have a lot of activities with her too. So sitting around at home to do work doesn't really fit into our schedule. So the only time that I really sit down and work at this job is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I actually have set business hours Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I typically work from like 9 to 2 or 9 to 3, something like that. But I'm not doing a lot of it is me being me. I'm very much a sponge. So I want to learn all different parts of fitness and health in general. So it's not necessarily just Beachbody work. A lot of it is just me having to learn about that kind of stuff. And I'm also right now getting my nutrition certification. So I'm doing some schoolwork in there too. So that's when I typically try to fit this in. And then I also every night when the twins go to bed, 8:30 to 10 is my time to check in with my challengers and do stuff. And then in the morning, Jack and I flip-flop what time we get up, because he does our programs as well here. And we only have room in the basement in our gym area for one of us at a time. So we flip-flop. So on the mornings that he gets up first, I do my check-ins with my challengers and my coaches and stuff first. So that's like, 15, 20 minutes. And then, what else was I going to say? And then the other thing is, there's always like spare time. Like today, the girls had dance for 45 minutes. So I sat there and was just, chatting with some people about the business. So and then gymnastics, they'll have gymnastics tomorrow. I'll probably be sitting there doing the same thing. So it's just, I fit it in when I can, where I can, but I don't allow it to impact. I've learned the hard way not to allow it to impact our family time. And that was difficult at first, but I kind of have it down now. So.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way too. I wanted Sheila to share. I wanted Sheila to share more about her day, because I think that you see people running their businesses in very different ways. Sheila and Tracy and myself, we eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff, so we do commit more time to it. We want to learn different aspects and avenues of the business. But then you have other coaches like Erin. She's at the bottom of my screen. She's also expecting a baby, and she is a full-time nurse. So her time that she devotes to Beachbody looks very different, and that's okay. We're all running the same pace, and you can run a race at different paces, and you're all going to get to the same end place ultimately. So, and it's okay if there is an ebb and flow to your business hours and the time you commit. As I said, when I started, it was 30 minutes a day if I was lucky. Tracy said, hey, can you just commit to the training and doing your own workout? And I said, well, I'm going to work out anyway. And the truth is, we all have pockets of time. It's just how we prioritize that time. I didn't have to trade a lot to grow my business, except for things that I was already doing. For example, when you're in the car, instead of listening to music, I would listen to our team trainings. When I was at the gym, instead of listening to, some rapper tell me about a big bottom girl, I was listening to a Beachbody podcast. And I already had that time there. I was going to be spending it doing something. I might as well be spending it learning how to grow, both as an individual and a mom and a wife, but also as a business person. So I think that everybody, they see what we do and they're like, oh, I don't have time for that. Well, if you have time to watch anything on Netflix, or if you have time, here we go. This is going to hit you all hard. If you don't miss This Is Us every Tuesday night, then you have time to work this business. I promise. It might require you to not know what's relevant on television anymore, but you have the time. It's just about kind of where your priorities lie. And then as you go further along, of course, you can commit more time to the business. I was able to commit more time because I finished school and we moved, and my husband wasn't in this stressful job, and my kids got older. So that's the beauty of this business, is you can really fit it into your life, and it can grow as your life grows too. So with that, I'm going to let Tracy talk about who can become a coach and some of the details of joining. Wait, hold on. I might have to unmute you.
Sorry,
there you
I have
go.
to unmute too. So thank you. Is everyone having fun, learning a lot? Yeah, just seeing that, we are, all walks of life, certainly in this business together, doing all of this. So really, who can become a coach? It can be anyone. Like Ashley said, my mom is a coach. She became a coach right away when I first did, just because she loved Shakeology and she wanted that discount, on the product. I encouraged my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, to also become a coach because, hey, he loved Shakeology too and wanted that discount. But I also have a lot of moms on my team. I have a lot of school teachers on my team that are all doing this because we certainly believe in the products. We've gotten great results. We want to be surrounded by a positive environment. And hey, what's the worst thing that could happen? We get healthy and fit, right? So that's leading me to I want you to ask yourself some questions tonight as we wrap things up and as we start to think about, what this business could possibly do for us. So the first thing I want you to think about, or the first question I want you to think about, is what if you became a coach? So you signed up, tonight, tomorrow, sometime soon, you signed up, you never made any money, but you certainly got healthier. What if you started to drink Shakeology and you got that 25% discount? You worked out consistently. You felt extremely happy in the skin that you were in. You got stronger. Your endurance improved. and you had accountability from other coaches around you. So what if you just started to feel better and you started to be more present maybe in your family's lives? Maybe you were happier at work with your coworkers, you had more energy and you felt alive. Would that be worth it for you to sign up? The second thing I want you to think about is, what if you shared Beachbody with a friend who was diabetic, who was depressed, and was on a downward spiral in life? And they were just praying for someone to reach out to them, someone like you who just cared about them. You noticed them, and that this person maybe wasn't in the right place to get started on their own, but they were looking for that person to just invite them to do something with you. Maybe it's a clean eating challenge. Maybe it's a, 21-day fitness challenge. And this person was feeling defeated, but you can be that person that can save their life. Would that be worth it? If you could help them do a complete 180 from where they are right now in that depressed downward spiral part of their life, and you could help lift them up through fitness, would that be worth it? All right, the third one that I want you to think about is, what if you jumped wholeheartedly into this business opportunity, that you committed to doing whatever it takes to learn about the business and to succeed? So Ashley mentioned earlier that I had asked her, could you just commit to 30 minutes a day just to learn a little bit more about this? So what if you jumped wholeheartedly in, you devoted some time to just learn about the business inside and out, you do small, consistent daily tasks over a course of maybe 30 days, 3 months, maybe 6 months. And no matter what's going on in your life, but you dream that there is something better. You know that it's out there and you're determined to go after it. You commit to be here from 1 year from now. All right? Can you commit to being here 1 year from now? You know that you're destined for greatness, and in 2 years from now, even, you could be making a 6-figure income just by helping people and feeling blessed and humbled and feeling thankful. Would that be worth it? To change your life, to have that freedom, to have that flexibility, to get rid of the things in your life that are causing you stress right now. Think about that. Would that be worth it? All right, and then the last one I want you to think about is, all right, so what if you just decide that this coaching thing isn't for you? You give it a year, it's really not your thing, your fears, your assumptions, whatever it may be, you just don't want to do it anymore. Guess what? You don't have to. All right, but I challenge you today to think about the things that make you unhappy, the things that make you feel sad, the things that make you feel stressed, the things that make you feel miserable right now in life. What are you doing about them to change that? All right, in 5 years from now, are you still going to be feeling the same way you are today? All right, will you still be feeling overworked, underpaid, tired, stressed out because things in your life are just pulling you down? Would you ever regret not doing something different instead? And would that be worth it? Just to know that you try to make a change. To just know. So just thinking about those things and thinking about like what the impact is that you might have on somebody, whether it's your own health, whether it's the health and fitness of someone in the life around you, whether it's your own freedom. Or what if you try it and you just decide that it's not from you, but will things be different in a year from now, even if you decide that it's not? Thinking about that, do you believe that this could be the opportunity for you? Do you believe that you could surround yourself in this environment with all these other amazing women who are on here, who come from all walks of life? Some moms, some, women who are just looking to feel better about themselves and the skin that they're in, some who maybe want something better for their families, some who are teachers, some who are dental hygienists. We all come from different walks of life, and I want you to really just think about it tonight and think about how this might be that game-changing opportunity for you and the place that you're in right now. And let's make 2017 your best year yet.
Thanks, Tracy. So I knew Tracy as a coach for like probably close to 2 years before I became a coach myself. And I used to see her share, I guess for lack of a better word, inspiring stuff like that. And I would roll my eyes, or people would talk about vacations, or they would show their fitness selfies. And I was like, oh my God, another one of these. And I was so negative about it. And then I totally drank the Kool-Aid. And the reason that this reminded me of that is I remember seeing Tracy and another friend of ours going on a trip. And I was like, there's no way these people are going on these vacations with like an at-home business. There's some sort of like, I guess, ruse about it. There's some sort of something that we don't know. And so it's funny that I remember that because right before jumping on this, I got an email that, Brandon and I are going to the Dominican in a couple months with Tracy, and that trip was completely paid for. I think I owe like $10 was my balance after the trip dollars that I earned. And it really just came from that decision that I see other people doing this, and I know I could do it too. So there's a few misconceptions about coaching, and that comes from just network marketing in general, because everybody has a bad taste in their mouth about either from an uncle who had a bad experience, or you personally did something different a few years ago and it was a bad experience. But the first thing that you need to know is that with coaching, you're never required to hold your own inventory. You're not even required to make a minimum product purchase or sales. The only investment you make in opening a business is literally, you can get started for as little as $39. If you're military, it costs you nothing to coach. So if you're a military spouse or a veteran, it's free. If you're not, you would pay a $39 fee and you could open your business. I don't know of any other like businesses anywhere you can open for $39. Sheila talked about wanting to own a flower shop. Like, I've always wanted to own a frozen yogurt shop. I would have to take like $100,000 business loan out. And then if my shop didn't survive, we'd be sunk. But with coaching, like, it's literally, I told my husband, the worst case scenario in this situation is I end up in the best shape of my life, because I'm going to work out anyway. I'm going to drink Shakeology anyway. I'm going to talk to other moms about fitness anyway. So like, literally the worst thing that can happen is I say, I guess this wasn't for me, and I'm not out any money, which you can't say that about many other businesses. So you won't ever be required to invest money in purchasing inventory, which is really nice, because I know a lot of ladies who are opening fashion boutiques, and they are spending between $7,000 and $10,000 to fill their garages, and then they have to sell this line of clothing. And to me, like, we didn't have that for me to go into. We didn't even have $75 to go downstate. Like, we would have had to put that on our credit card, and that's not cool for any mom with young kids, or anyone at all, I don't think. So there's no inventory. You can get started for as little as $39. And then one other cool thing about the network that I just wanted to share, and then we'll end in 2 minutes, is that the coaching network was actually born organically. When Carl Deichler and John Congdon founded the company, it was purely an infomercial company. They loved the idea of at-home fitness. They knew that that would be popular, but what they didn't expect was that people were popping up and forming these groups. This was prior to Facebook too, so they were forming groups on like MySpace and the Team Beachbody board, where they were staying accountable to one another. And when Beachbody saw that, they said, hey, why don't we reward these people who are essentially coaching? Because obviously people get better results in the context of community than trying to go it alone. So there was never a network marketing plan, or even the idea of a compensation plan for Team Beachbody. That kind of came from the ground up. And I think that's why it works so well, is because coaches, we do what we do because we love it. And we know that helping people in a community environment is really what works best for us. So those are 2 really cool pieces of information I wanted to share with you. You can start coaching whenever you want to. I guess my biggest regret has always been, I started P90X and I started skipping past the coaching commercial and the Shakeology commercial almost 3 years before I ever became a coach. And I never regret the decision to coach, but I always go back to, gosh, Brandon, what if I would have started this like 3 years sooner? Like, imagine where we would be, rather than spending so much time being like skeptical and cynical and worried about what my friends would think. Like, we would have been so much further ahead than we even are right now. So I'm grateful for this opportunity. My only reservation ever was, why didn't I begin this when I first heard about it? I spent too much time watching other people and waiting for something better to come along than just taking action on the fact that I loved fitness and I love people and I love the fact that I can own my own business for literally pennies. Like, the cost of coaching is $15 a month. Beachbody takes care of all of the shipping, all of the customer orders. They give me an email system. They give me 4 websites. They give me unlimited training. They roll out all the new products. They spend billions of dollars on marketing and coming up with content that I don't have to do. And I pay $15 for that a month. That's actually, I don't even pay that because I'm a military spouse. But so if you're a military spouse, you don't even pay that. But if you're just a regular person, it's $15. Like, I couldn't even mail people samples of Shakeology for that cheap per month. So it's really incredible. If you're looking for something that fits your lifestyle and that is fun and repeats itself, think about it. Women especially care about fitness year-round. There's never a day that a woman doesn't think about how she feels in her clothing or look in the mirror, and we don't want women to ever pick their bodies apart, but we are conscious constantly of how we feel, both men and women. We're conscious of how we look and feel. So to be in a business about helping people feel better is much easier to do long-term, year-round, because eventually you can own enough of the same handbags or makeup, I promise. But people don't get sick of fitness. They want it, they crave it because it makes you feel better and it really impacts the world around you. So did you guys have any questions? I can't believe we ended at 10. I don't see anything in the chat, but did anyone have a question of anything we talked about so far? No, I don't. Nope. Okay, well then go to bed. I think almost everyone on here has a baby or is expecting. So you all need some sleep. And if you do have any questions, you can reach out to Tracy or myself or Sheila or anyone who talked. And you can also comment your questions in the event page we had, or just ask the person who invited you here. But thank you for your time, and we hope to hear from you soon. Okay. Good night, guys.